Welcome everyone to another episode of the Definitive Crusade. At time of recording, it is spooky Halloween, which has a little bit of a theme for today's comics. Also, since last time, I'm a little bit older. I'm sure the guys will enjoy hearing that. Yes, I have had a birthday, so I am now the paltry age of, well, I'm not going to tell you. All right. Joining me this time around, we have, as always, Matthew and Freya.
Well, hello.
Hi, everybody. Nice mask.
Freya.
Thank you.
All right, his.
Oh, yeah. Well, I like your beard too. It's a usual thing.
I definitely like your mask as well, Johnny. You know, it covers up a lot. Well needed.
Oh my god. And so it begins.
Of course.
All right.
Can you guys hear me all right? I have to speak really loud, otherwise I feel like I come out muffled.
No, I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
I'll move my mic a little bit closer.
I will find a mute button somewhere, I'm sure. All right, let's dive straight into the books. First up, because it is Halloween, and I've gone and lost it. Where's it at? There it is. 2 seconds. There it is. We are going with, due to its popular video-ness, I assume, that spawned not one but two movies. We're going with Batman: The Long Halloween Special. So, for those that don't know, this is actually the third sequel to Batman: The Long Halloween. So, written by Jeff Loeb, art by Tim Sale, colours by Brennan Wagner, and letters by Richard Starkings. So, did you guys get to see the movie?
I did not.
No.
Great conversation started there.
Hey, in all fairness, we didn't choose this. Josh.
No, you're right. Yeah,
and Josh isn't even here.
Josh isn't even here.
Right, okay, so as always, if you miss a show for whatever reason, then your pick next time will be picked for you.
Yeah.
Joshua, I hope it was worth it, my friend. I hope it was all worth it.
I can't do that.
Really? I'm pretty sure you can. All right, okay, so I'll start this one off, I guess, because, Josh isn't here, so we'll start with this one. I've got to say right from the bat that I absolutely love Tim Sale. I think his art is great. However, this time around, I think it's lacking something. I don't know if it's a little bit too caricature heavy. And as a result, I think this book suffers from grandiose symptoms. And this double spread straight away is kind of what I mean by this. This book reads, for me, like poster art.
Mm-hmm.
There's huge big panels. You know what I mean? Bats is there, of course. It's just, I don't know. It might be. I'm just used to 9 panels now, thanks DC. But there doesn't seem to be a lot of nuance to this. It's very much blah, it's in your face, which I expected a little bit more, I think, from Tim Sale, because, as I said, I absolutely adore his work. Story-wise, Harvey Dent's back, and I really don't think that adds much to this at all. The Long Halloween era stories don't get extended by much for this. Should this have been two booker? Let's put some more stuff in there. Let's fill it out a little bit more. Because that was the thing with The Long Halloween. It was long. This is like super short, like 50 pages.
It's one book.
And because the panels are so big, you don't even feel like you're getting 50 pages. There is a bit with Batgirl in there. And of course, Batgirl is still older than Robin, which brings up a couple of questions for me, as much as I like Batgirl, is that how much older than Robin is she? Because she feels like that costume quite well is she's supposed to be a kid, so that's a little bit wrong. And also, if Barbara's wearing a Batgirl costume for Halloween, how when Batgirl shows up years later, does Jimbo not realize it's her? It's like he is the worst cop. He's like the lowest lane of cops.
Well, he also kind of isn't winning Father of the Year because he's asking Batman if his daughter can go trick-or-treating with Robin. Like, yeah, let's let my daughter hang out with the vigilante.
I mean, it's kind of like
that's a play date and a half, that, isn't it?
As far as we can see, Gordon doesn't have many friends, so
well,
still,
but Barbara should have friends. She's not her dad.
If everyone's
debatable.
Well,
there we go. That's what we're talking about. That girl. There we
go.
Yeah, why
cool.
does she have a test if she's a child who's trick-or-treating?
Yeah. So for me, I don't know. It seems like this book should be a good idea, but when you look back at both the original, The Long Halloween, Dark Victory, and then Catwoman When in Rome, those books are far superior to this. This is just, it feels like it's been slapped together to ride the coattails of a DVD or Blu-ray. And I'm a little bit disappointed in that. Cool. Freyja.
Ooh.
But, ooh. Ghouls first, of course, with your witchy thing going on.
Honestly, I think this was the worst book we had to read.
Whoa, that's
just throwing that. Not necessarily because of the story. Mostly it's the art that really bothers me. Like, go to the cover. Go all the way back to the beginning. Go all the way back. Broken neck, Batman. Your neck can't go that way. And then just progressively.
It can, just not very well.
It can if you're not alive. Like, your neck's not supposed to do that. It's like
it's Halloween. Head spin round on Halloween.
I know, but it's bad. And they just go through and like the faces are terrible, and it's just, I did not like Bruce's face is awful. Don't get me started on Two-Face's whatever the crap's going on with his face. It's just, and then the same issues with that you said. It's kind of the panels. It's just they seem bulky now. But I think because of the, like you said, because of the 9-panel fad that we got kind of used to that, and now we're going back to normalcy and everything just seems too big, I guess. I don't know.
I think there's got to be something in the panel to make it worth the while. I mean, this page, for example, you've got a really nice skyline going on. You've got some interesting stuff going on here. But look at this bottom one here. What the hell? You've got half a clock tower, if that.
And yellow and red.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you got. And I'm thinking to myself, shouldn't, I mean, when you look from this angle, you can see all the city around them, and you look from this angle, there's one building.
Yeah.
It's like that scene in Batman Begins at the end where they talk about rebuilding the manor and they're walking around, and all you can see is grass everywhere. And you're thinking, isn't Wayne Manor supposed to be near a city?
Yeah.
Where'd Gotham go?
Yeah, no skyline. Oh, my favorite panel of Bruce is what page is it? 15?
Page 15.
15. With his face, stupid freaking face. That's also a great picture. She very much reminds me of what's that artist? A different artist. But yeah, that, not her. But yeah, her face. Sorry, I keep jumping.
You do.
Her face looks a lot like a character that I saw on some shirts at Hot Topic back when I was in high school. What was it? Emily the Strange? I don't remember. I'm gonna look it up. But anyway, while I look that up, also Batman's face on the next page. Like, what the crap happened to him? Also Alfred.
Yeah.
Frankenstein monster over here.
Yeah, I know. His face is just so bad. And I know it's a style thing, but oh my gosh. He doesn't look like, Bruce Wayne would look like. He looks like a thug from an old school comic, with like the blocky jaw and stuff. He doesn't look like a guy that women would be swooning over,
He looks like Frankenstein monster to me.
Yeah, he's too rectangular, if that's the right word. He looks like his face has been flattened into a rectangle. And then poor Alfred looks like, those balloons you don't blow up quite right, and then they have like the long
and he just
And then Robin looks just, oh god, I don't know what was going on. It's just
I think
bad.
sometimes artists have a trouble sort of like drawing like Robin that size as opposed to like the larger size. They go one of two ways. I think, you know, it depends who you contrast him with. If you have, for example, you don't know so much in the Robin book with Tim Drake because he's surrounded by his peers. He doesn't have a lot of adults to hang out with.
Yeah.
Mainly. But when you see Robin in Batman, it's always, you know, the Batman's the main character. So that's kind of where I go from there. All right. The colours look great, though. So whoever coined that phrase.
Good job, colorist. Good job.
Yeah, good job, colorist. Matthew, what did you think of the Long Halloween?
Kind of a lot of the same opinions of Freyja. Just the artwork really threw me off. The one that we saw about with Gilda, that one frame, she looked like a cross between Coraline and Sid the Sloth.
Ah, yeah, I can see that.
And so it just, a lot of the things, and a lot of the frames where we saw Two-Face, such as here, it doesn't look like flesh. It looked a lot more like stone in his face from how bulky it was.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious what the flyaway things are supposed to be. Like the things are just poking out of his face. I have no idea what that is.
Peeled skin.
Is it supposed to be peeled skin?
Well, that's what I assume it was. Don't know if it is.
It looks like worms coming out of his face, but I don't know.
Well, he has been hanging out. Has been hanging out in the sewers with his best pal.
Right. Solomon Grundy.
Who knows what he caught?
Yeah, Solomon Grundy got shafted on this a bit, you know.
Well, he's going to come back. It's not a big deal.
I know he is. Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday, you know, yada yada yada. But
yeah.
I can't believe Frey just yawned at Solomon Grundy.
Sorry.
I missed it. I can only see out of this one right now because this eye keeps fogging up really bad. So like this half of the screen is just missed. So I'm having to like turn and
which side? The left side. So
a lot of the artwork with like the calendar men, they just seem really weird. Like the one when he shows up at the house.
Yeah.
He looked like a Peanuts artist drew him. like he's a demented Charlie Brown of some kind.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you guys.
Yeah.
Go on, Fred.
No, I was just saying it was weird. Yeah.
I did enjoy it, like from the aspect that it is a comic book and you know it is a story that is being told. I did read it, was like, oh, okay, this is okay. I would have given it like a 5 out of 10 on the scale because it wasn't like so bad that I didn't enjoy it. I did relatively enjoy what was going on and the story. The fact that you know, Julian Day is like trying to establish his place because he feels like he's been. Yeah.
So let me ask you a quick question then, the pair of you. Did you like the original? Do you like the original Long Halloween?
Yeah.
Yep. So how then do you feel this is dramatically different? Or is it not? Or is it just more of the same? Do you think it's just haphazard or?
I don't think that dramatically is a word. Dramatically, though.
Dramatically is my word. I created the word dramatically. It's my word, and I use it. I own it. That's the way it is.
Okay.
I will
Modern
say
Shakespeare over here making up words.
It's called the English language. Remember?
Oh yeah, we make crap up all the time. I do say I like the Dent story in the old one better.
Yeah.
It just seemed, I don't know, maybe it's because there was more books and it just seemed more fleshed out. Also, this one just kind of, I don't know, Robin and freaking Batgirl trick-or-treating is weird. I don't know, because it just doesn't make sense to me. It's Batman. Come on, you're really gonna go in the bat suit and go, let's go trick or treating. I just killed some people, but
What? Batman doesn't kill people. What? He only
pretty
rearranges their
sure-
bones.
Oh
he just
yeah,
rearranges their
what
bones.
was it? He puts them to sleep permanently. How about
Right.
that? They're just napping
The
permanently.
college humor skit.
Yeah, they're sleeping.
This is a gun. Ah!
So yeah, I'm not talking. Yeah, I'm not going down that line. All right, so there you go. A bit of a mixed bag. I think for this one, fans of the original book will probably lap it up and love it and think it's fantastic. People who are a little more avant-garde might think it's like such a different slice, I suppose, of Bat life, which is surprising considering how much Bat we've got going on right now. Me, I'm kind of bummed to the point where I'm thinking, why did they even bother? But that's
because the movie, and they always have to make a comic to coincide with a TV show and a movie because they can't just, can't finish any plot points in the movie. Oh no, we gotta, do weird things for the comic books and do backgrounds for the comic books, and they have to do all this stupid crap, and no one gives a shit. Sorry, I'm so angry right now.
Frey's coming unhinged.
I don't know. Somebody give Freya some candy quick.
Oh, I have some. Don't worry.
I literally have bags of candy that my roommate brought home. He was like, "Here you go," and it's like 14 things of Hershey's. I'm like,
nice. Well, it's my sister's birthday, so we have cake.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah. I feel bad for my dad because he can't really eat anything, but yeah, he had surgery last time, like 2 weeks ago.
Oof, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I wasn't here. Sorry, guys.
Cool. It's all right. It's because it was such a valid reason and a great reason, and much love to your dad.
Yeah.
We're not picking a book for you.
Oh, thank you.
This time.
I'm usually very punctual and actually show up.
Well, I'm not going to say anything about that little miss late today, but hey, that's fine. All right, so the next book. Who picked this? It is where's it at? It is Task. Oh, I've gone and shared the screen and then closed it down like a
You're showing your age.
Yeah, what a noob I am. All right, so
this one surprised me.
So this is Task Force Z, or for you Americanized people, Task Force Z. So I'll go through the stats. It's written by Matthew Rosenberg, who you may remember writing Uncanny X-Men for Migraine before Jonathan Hickman went House of X, or Jonathan Hickman, I should say. Art by Eddie Barrows, who you might have seen on the things. It's totally gone out my head, but it was the 12-issue maxi series set in an alternative Earth. Freedom Fighters. There you go. It came back to me. Inks by Eber Ferreira. Colors by Adriana Lucas, and letters by Rob Lee. All I've got to say is somebody snuck a Red Hood book in this. I can't believe somebody would stoop to such level that they would try and succeed in sliding a Red Hood book in. Matthew, I'm imagining this must be your choice.
No, actually, that's what surprised me the most, is that I did not pick this one.
Freya.
Hey, I just beat you to it, I feel like.
Son of a... You're supposed to be on my side. You hate the Red Hood.
There wasn't, I blindly picked this. I didn't even know Red Hood was in it until I read it.
He's on the bloody cover.
I didn't look at the cover. I just saw the name with that one.
Yep. Yes.
Right. Okay.
I had just finished reading it, and I was like, I think I'll stay away from the Red Hood this time. I'll go with something else. And then Freya was like, Task Force Z. I was like, yes, Red Hood in.
Yeah.
So, Freya, this was your choice.
Yes, it was.
For some god awful reason.
Hey.
So you can start us off on this one before we get all the Red Hood love from Matthew.
Okay. So I actually did not hate this book. I actually enjoyed it.
You've changed.
I know. I took a week off and I came back a completely different person.
What I like about this book so much is that it's got a cover for itself in the book. That's whoever did the market on that one. Well done.
Yeah, beautiful. It's just
make sure to check out Task Force Z.
with
Okay.
Task Force Z. Yeah, good job, editors. I'm blaming you. So I actually like the cover a lot, but I'm into like the whole dark monstery things. I don't know why Red Hood's in here, besides they got to shove a Bat family member into every task force somehow. Um, I don't know why. Also, did I miss something? When did Bane become a zombie?
I
This
think
this was
this is
And
part of the joy. This for those that are keeping score is a 12-issue maxi series. So I'm sure down the line we will get to know why people turn into zombies.
we
yeah,
actually
and
we
mhm.
actually saw a kind of like a preview to this in a previous episode where I discussed a Red Hood book, and it ended with Red Hood being put in charge of a team that alluded to them
Oh
being dead.
yeah.
This was on a previous episode, which is
Oh,
why I was
that's right.
excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did say that. So yeah, I hear Red Hood and I stopped listening.
Yep.
So yeah, that's fine.
So yeah, I thought Man Bat was on Justice League Dark, but I guess he's a zombie now too. Anyway, I do like seeing these dark characters. This is kind of like the Justice League Dark type of situation I wanted. I wanted like actual darkness. But like I said, I don't know why Red Hood's part of it. Um, the fight with Polka Dot Man was interesting. Gotham Knight was interesting. I actually enjoyed this. I like the art style. It fit with the theme, I think. And yeah, I actually quite enjoyed this. There is some art stuff here and there that I didn't like, but it was so. Also, what the crap happened to Jason? Why does he look like a freaking mutant going on his? Did he get acid or something? I haven't been following him.
Yeah. So part of it was he came into contact with this virus that when exposed to dead tissue can bring them back to life, but when exposed to living tissue causes it to decay rapidly.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
Like the
Um,
anti-Lazarus.
Anti-Lazarus.
Lazarus is mentioned in this as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Oh, this art thing. Whoa, that was weird. On page 9 or 10,
uh,
when he's talking to Miss Redhead Granny Lady,
Mm-hmm.
um, I I like it, but I hate it. The shadowing of the faces,
mhm.
when they do like the close-ups, I hate it because there's no freaking reason why they would be in shadow like that. Because of the lighting and everything. It doesn't make any freaking sense. And I get that they probably just didn't want to do a close up of the face. And they have to draw it. So I guess I understand that's why they did it, but I still hate it. Also, I hate this redhead character. Like she is like the biggest
Yeah.
Yeah,
bitch.
but you've met her for one page and already
Yeah,
you hate
guess
her.
what? First impressions do a lot, and she's a bitch in
Mm-hmm.
her first impression. So I don't like her, and I hope she dies.
I hope she lives because anyone that's bitchy towards Jason Todd's a hero in my book.
Yeah,
Oh.
but she's probably like that to everyone, and I just she acts like an old woman, which makes me think that she secretly is an old woman and she's possessing somebody's body. Because we have zombies, why not ghosts? You know, like dead man, or
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you
Yeah,
know,
dead man. Yeah, cool.
Who is part of Justice League Dark?
yeah. Well, that book kind of fell off my radar.
Well, I think it doesn't help for all the Justice League Dark fans out there that it is the backup story for the Justice League book. So
Yeah.
Mm.
if you're kind of like your hero's a little bit dark and a little bit supernatural, be it having to buy a straight up normal superhero book is probably not going to be a good idea for you.
Yeah.
You
I
know, it
wanted
should.
monsters and demons and
Yeah,
werewolves and
yeah.
vampires and all the supernatural stuff. I want freaking Cthulhu popping out, but no, we had to have a freaking boring another Justice League book
But you got to think
with Wonder Woman.
the problem is and I like Justice League Dark as much as you, Freya. I like the idea behind it. Is that the problem is it just doesn't sell, or else, you know, I mean, it had a run before in the New 52, and it came back as part of Rebirth, and without the Zatanna Constantine thing, the book just loses its impetus. It loses its drive forward. It just dies a death because you know what? There can only be so many like. I suppose it's the problem with superhero books anyway. There can only be so many earth-shattering events that we go through.
Yeah.
But some of the characters. I mean, Detective Chimp, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, why the crap is Detective Chimp part of the team? It didn't make any sense. And that's maybe just bring them back for Halloween. And like I said, do vampires and demons. And like, don't make it like earth shattering, but be haunted house, like scary, people going missing in this mansion or something.
I would buy the hell out of a Justice League Dark Black Label book.
Yeah.
Do that. That's what it should happen. That's where it should be. Justice League Dark Black House of Mystery in there. Get some stuff going on.
Like freaking do a like House on a Haunted Hill type crap going down,
Yeah, cool.
Or some Saw shit.
Right.
So Matthew's been waiting patiently while we've digressed and tried not to talk about Red Hood. So Matthew, do you want to talk about Red Hood or not?
Yes, actually, I believe. So the main things I wanted to say, I did kind of already intervene and interject in here. This is a follow-up to a previous book that we discussed on the channel. I can't recall which one.
It would be Urban Legends.
But
there you go.
Yep. And at the end of that one, we see someone telling Jason, like, hey, I need you in charge of this team because you're a dead man anyways, so why not? And here we see it pick back up. Jason is in charge of this undead zombie team. As far as the artwork goes, I loved the artwork. I thought it was just perfect. Well, maybe not perfect. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. There was a couple things in there that kind of like what Freya said, the shading and everything. It's supposed to be a really light room, really well-lit room. And there's shadows.
Yeah.
But we see, Jason in charge of this team. They capture a guy, and then the Arkham Knight comes in, and they use this scare tactic of Arkham Knight threatening to eat Polka Dot Man or Quilt Man. I forget what he said. He said his name in the beginning of the book. I think he said Quilt Man.
I think it's Polka Dot, yeah.
Okay, well. Whomever. They give information, and then we see the undead team. It's a little weird because Bane, it's like they have some, even though they're zombies, they still have some semblance of intelligence because they recognize Jason as the leader, as the strike team master, and they actually converse, which is weird for zombies.
Yeah.
I think.
But that may be a side effect of like the Lazarus pill that they've been taking.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go with, definitely.
Mm-hmm. And we see Mr. Bloom. Mr. Bloom makes a reappearance as part of the team, who is not dead yet. But I found it quite laughable. He's constantly telling everybody, he's like, maybe you should tell them I'm not dead. Maybe you should tell them that I'm still alive. just a reminder, I'm not dead.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of humorous. And so they raid this facility. Mr. Freeze is apparently there. They go through a fight, and it leaves off with Arkham Knight, or Jason and everybody gets frozen because they break Mr. Freeze's suit. Everything gets frozen. And who they thought had already been defeated, Arkham Knight, crawls out of the snow and is now heading towards Jason, presumably to try and eat them. And another laughable point was Jason was like, all right, no killing. We try to keep everybody alive. And the very first thing anyone does when they get in there is just murder. Murder.
Yeah, they eat people. That's what zombies do.
Yeah.
So that's not really Jason Todd at all, then, is it? Really, because he's if anyone in the Bat family is going to smash someone's head in and kill them, as noticed in the Three Jokers, it's going to be Jason Todd.
Yeah, I don't know why he adopted the Batman. No killing.
Yeah.
Well, this is during that trend where he promised Batman or promised Bruce that he was in fact going to try to stay away from the no killing thing.
Yeah, well, he technically didn't kill anyone. The zombies did.
True.
It's like, when you play a zombie game and you shoot the other person in the leg to, fend off the zombies.
Shucks.
I didn't technically kill them. The zombies did.
Goodness don't kill people, people do. And on that note, we'll take a quick break for one of our ads. It's a new advert.
Woo!
We are going over with our migraine colleagues. This is the No Prize Podcast.
Hey.
There you go, No Prize Podcast, the only place to go on the UCPN for all your Marvel news, including all the stuff that is on Disney Channel. I'm sure at some point they will be talking Eternals, so, have a watch out with that. If you like a good PowerPoint, Lucas is your man on that. All right, we're keeping up with the horror theme with the next book. It is DC versus Vampires.
Ooh.
Therefore, Matthew, this must be your choice, is it?
This one was, in fact, my choice. This one was my pick.
Let me go through the creds before we get into this then. So this is number 1 of 12. So we've had 2 maxi series already. It's written by James Tynion IV, who, as we know, is leaving Batman. It also includes Matthew Rosenberg of Task Force Z fame. Art, colours is by Otto Schmidt, who you will have seen on Catwoman Future State. Letters are by Tom Napolitano. All right, Matthew, take it away. This is your choice.
All right, so I actually like this one better than Task Force Z. Just strictly for one reason. One panel made me change my opinion. But we start out with this guy. We have the orange text. He's talking. It's kind of like an inner monologue. His name ends up being Andrew Bennett, and he is, in fact, a vampire. We found out that he is being hunted by who, we don't know yet. And then someone bumps into him, knocks off his hat, and he spontaneously combusts. And everyone's like, oh my God, why is he on fire? And Green Lantern's like, haha, don't worry, guys. We've seen everybody spontaneously combust at least once in their life. Nothing to see here. And he saves him, brings him in. And we see him freak out. He's like, I need to speak to the Justice League. I need to speak to the Justice League. Something's happened. And Green Lantern tries to calm him down. We see Wonder Twin Zan walk in and be like, hey, what's going on? And Green Lantern informs him he is in fact a vampire. Okay, what's going on? And Andrew Bennett starts telling him the story about how the Queen, remind me her name again. I can't exactly see my panel to say her name.
Let me see if I can find this.
Mary.
Yeah, Mary. If I try and expand, see, this what happens when I try and expand stuff.
Mary, Queen of Blood.
Mary, okay, Mary, Queen of Blood. Well, apparently she is an ex-lover, but she is the queen of the vampires and is the only thing keeping the vampires from attacking humankind. Well, it turns out she's dead.
Well, aren't all vampires technically?
Yeah.
She's an ash pile in the ground.
Right.
Yeah, she's like dead. Like super dead.
dead.
She's dead. And so he's trying to find out who did this, and it leads him to the Legion of Doom hideout. And once he gets there, he realizes they're all dead too. They've been killed by vampires. And as he's trying to figure out what's going on, he finds Lex Luthor, who is still alive. And Lex Luthor's like, this is what happened. Some of us have been turned. Here, take my blood and go to this address. And he's like, well, I know what it is. Do it. And make sure to kill me before you leave because they're just going to torture me. And he's like, okay, kills him, heads out towards the Justice League. And we cut back to where he's talking to Green Lantern and Zan. And this is the part that I was talking about that changed my opinion of it. Yep. Also, I love that artwork though. The red background, the whole red gorgeous. Aesthetic. That was absolutely wonderful as far as artwork, in my opinion. But he's talking with Red Lantern and Zan, and he's like, they're here. Oh no. And Green Lantern's like, oh shucks, I wish you hadn't said that. And apparently Green Lantern's been infected, or as he says, evolved. And he's like, well, I wish you hadn't brought Zan into this. I prefer my blood. I'm trying to remember the exact quote. But anyways, he says, I prefer my blood a certain way, but this time I'll settle for a milkshake. And we see him take Zan and put him in a blender. Like that's when I was like, oh, this is kind of like another comic book, another read to like, oh shit, this is real. It just made my brain like click. He turned the Wonder Twin into a blender or into a milkshake, and just it was one of those gruesome moments that you're not expecting, especially from Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And we find out after he speaks to Aquaman, he's like, oh yeah, I was just getting rid of something that, didn't sit well. And we cut over to Batman in the Batcave talking with Alfred. Alfred explains to him, we had a visitor. Apparently, Andrew Bennett first stopped by Bruce Wayne's manor before going to the Justice League and was able to hand off a letter, which was the inner monologue that we saw or read earlier on in the comic book, and the vial of blood, saying Lex Luthor may have just saved the world. And that's where it ends. Wonderful read for me. I was fully involved in it, especially after I hit that milkshake part. I was like, oh my god. And
my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and
my milkshake brings the vampires out.
Sorry, couldn't resist. Someone said milkshake. Whatever.
I loved it.
Yeah, okay, cool. Freya, what did you think? Because if I remember correctly, I don't think you were overly fond of Otto Schmidt on the Catwoman book.
No, I was not. So
I know what you're thinking. How does he remember all this stuff? Well,
it's that old brain. It's super wrinkly.
Extra wrinkles. Well, for one thing, I didn't know they had a freaking street in front of the Hall of Justice. I thought it had like a giant like mirror pool, but what do I know? Maybe they let people drive through it now. It's just like him getting hit by a car was just kind of ridiculous. Also, I thought, by the way he was talking and everything, I didn't know that was Hal Jordan. I thought it was like Guy Gardner.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I was like, what? Who is this? Which lantern is this? But it's just, I don't know. Also, the Wonder Twin, isn't he the one that can turn into water?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why didn't he just turn into water when he was in the blender?
That's why that line was a little bit funny when he had the milkshake and he goes, it's a bit watery.
But he could have saved himself if he turned into water, because he would have been liquid. Sorry, I'm just like, if they were gonna kill the Wonder Twin, they should have had the other Wonder Twin, the one that just turns into animals, because she wouldn't have been able to save herself. Or she could have turned into an octopus, I guess. But yeah, art style wise, it kind of went. I'm trying to give it kind of more of a pass because it's trying to be like that, like old school kind of horror genre type of vibe to it, especially when it gets into the red panels.
I did like the cameo from Darth Vader.
Yeah, Legion of Doom headquarters. So I am trying to give it a pass on the art, or else I would just be like, I hate every single panel when it's red, because his fingers, he turns into like penguin fingers on page freaking 11, and it's just when he's reaching out with Lex with the 11 or 12, I think next page, when Lex is attacking him with a stake, one of it, like two of his fingers merge into one. Not that one, maybe it's before. What page was it? It's when Lex, like, he's looking at a map. 11, page 11.
11.
11. Yeah, go back. Was it 11 or
Yeah,
after that one? After this one. It's after this one. There we go. He's reaching out towards Lex, and his fingers kind of merge together into like the 90s Batman movie with Donnie, or what's his name?
Danny
DeVito as the Penguin, and he has like the flipper hand thing going on. So
that's what my flipper trick.
So yeah, it's just I tried to give it a pass because of what they were trying. Also, Lex Luthor's hands is a freaking mess, but because I know what they're trying to go for, so I'm like, fine, I won't pick on you too much, but I'm still gonna pick on you because it's still stupid. But like, I like the vampires. I didn't know that was Lex. He was kind of looking a bit, I don't know, snake-like. I don't. It's just weird. Seeing vampire gorilla God is pretty cool. And then he kind of started looking like freaking the Shadow on page 18, where he's all wrapped up with the hat, the Shadow nose. He looks exactly like the Shadow. Come on, and it's awesome. I love the Shadow. But yeah, it was interesting. And I was like, with the whole reveal with Green Lantern, I was like, but how does he was out in the sun? How does that work? And then they had this whole BS whatever thing. So I was like,
I thought it was a good explanation.
I know it was a good explanation, but it felt kind of like, did the rings always work on sunlight? Because I don't remember them working with sunlight before.
I think you can get his ring to do anything. It's the most powerful weapon in the universe, isn't it? So if it can diffuse the.
So it's like a freaking MacGuffin or something, whatever it's called.
Yeah. It is.
A MacGuffin.
But the thing is, the ring can sort of like it makes sure the ultraviolet rays that hurt vampires don't get through.
But
it's the same reason why Green Lanterns can fly in space.
I guess
exactly the same thing.
But since he's technically dead, shouldn't he be a Black Lantern holder now?
Well, this is where I misspoke earlier. Vampires aren't dead; they're undead.
I know they're undead, but so are zombies.
Well, they're actually reanimated corpses, aren't they?
They actually went through the death process.
I do not want to go through if a zombie bites a vampire stuff. No.
Or if a vampire bites a zombie, does it turn
What if they both bite a werewolf?
A vampire would never bite.
Hey, we know what happens with that. If anyone's ever watched Underworld, you know what a vampire and a werewolf hybrid looks like.
Oh yeah.
Hot in latex, right?
Latex.
A vampire would never bite a zombie because there's no blood.
There's no zombie. Yeah.
So a vampire would never bite a zombie. Zombies are just dumbass creatures that'll bite anything. So,
yeah, it's true.
So
also,
what happens if they bite each other and nothing happens? And that's just kinky.
Gross. Necrophilia. Anyway, but
I couldn't resist. Sorry.
And anyway, the whole like this wasn't a vampire movie, and I can't remember, but the whole like they want to destroy all humans. I'm like, are vampires stupid? Because aren't they their food source? Like humans? Aren't humans their food source? So why would you kill them all? It'd be like people setting the planet on fire and killing all the animals all at once. And be like, yes, this is a good idea.
Well, that's what we're doing. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is a metaphor for environmentalists.
Well, at least humans, sorry, I'm not going to get into the environmentalist thing, but like we have farms. We don't slaughter all of them. We have them reproduce. It's the same thing with like trees and stuff. We don't just, well, except for some countries and some stupid people, but like where I'm from, they replant the trees and they do zoning and they chop down the trees in one specific zone and then they replant the trees. And then like 10 years later or whatever, by the time they get back to the original zone that they chopped down, the trees have grown back. They don't just burn all the tree, like chop all the trees down and set everything on fire, which I know some countries do, but I'm not going to name names. But that's stupid. It's the same thing. And it was in a movie too, where the humans were like the food source and they were dying out. And I'm like, okay, well, why are you killing them all? Why do you drain them until they die? Why don't you just drain a little bit? And then, kind of like freaking, it's like blood banks. We don't kill people donating blood. They're still alive. It's a stupid premise in my mind, but gotta do the Earth thing. At least the vampire was smart enough to go to Batman and not just the straight up Justice League. But Batman's probably already infected because who would be the first one to freaking get bit because he's out at night all the time?
So it's gonna. This is who it's going to be. It's going to be Green Arrow and Batman. That's who it's going to be.
Yeah. Get a UV light and just blast it across everything and kill them all.
It's what we need. More Green Arrow. And on that note, we shall jump onto our final book. For the record, I quite enjoyed DC versus Vampires. I like that Otto Schmidt, so I was kind of pleased with that, definitely. So our last book. Oh, why did I pick this?
Yeah, you thought my pick was bad.
Yeah. Oh my God, why did I pick this? All right, so we're going with this beauty of a book, and it is Green Arrow and Aquaman in Big Target, number 1 of 7. Let me find out who to blame for this. It's written by Brandon Thomas, art by Ronan, I'll say Cliquet, maybe. Colors Ulysses Ariola, and letters by Josh Reed. So I'll give you the skinny on this. Basically, they've discovered time travel. They can go back in the past and bring back living matter into the present quicker than you can say, damn it, Barry, that causes some sort of problems in the time stream, where it just so happens that the only 2 blonde characters, excluding Black Canary, in the DC universe, switch roles. That's right, everybody. Aquaman is now Green Arrow, and Green Arrow is now Aquaman. So this is basically a bad episode of a CW crossover. There you go. Where they did exactly the same thing with the Flash and Ollie Queen at the time. I've got nothing good to say about this book. I honestly, I like Green Arrow. I think Green Arrow's a good character. I wish to do more Green Arrow stuff.
Maybe there was dinosaurs in this.
I don't give a rat's ass who's in this.
I love dinosaurs, man. I'm
sorry, Ross.
I mean, that's why I like you, and you know.
So what was I going to say there? Yes. So, Green Arrow should have a Black Label book. That's it. He's got arrows. He should be going around killing people with the damn things. No boxing glove arrows. None of this. This book, I just, why on earth? Why? What makes them think? What makes the powers at DC think that 2 characters who've had their books cancelled are gonna actually sell together when you in one book? What? That's like having the Miami Dolphins play the Detroit Lions and expecting someone to win the game. It's not. It's going to end in a 0-0 tie after overtime. All right. So my mind is just like my flabber is gasted on this one. I just don't get it. Matthew, what do you think of this?
10 out of 10. Wonderful book. Best read ever.
Freyja, what did you think of this?
I'm going first again? Okay.
I went to Matthew and he went batshit crazy.
Matthew, do you want to actually talk about it, or do you want to just tease him?
I'll give it a rundown. So as we read through, and as Johnny so
eloquently,
lovingly stated, the roles of Aquaman and Green Arrow get swapped. We do see some promo for Task Force Z in this.
Hey, that's probably the best thing in the book.
Yep. Best art too.
So basically, we start off with this satellite and this guy. He's like, "All right, we satellites down, team go," and it's basically them figuring out time travel and so on and so forth. And then we jump over to Green Arrow, diving down into the water. He's heading down towards Atlantis, and he's going to try to confront Aquaman. They go through this interaction, this small little fight, and we find out that they've essentially swapped places. And even though Green Arrow is like, "Hey, I've been waiting for you. I don't want to fight," or I say Green Arrow, but when it's it's Oliver Queen is like, hey, I don't want to fight. Let's not fight. Let's figure out why we swap places. Arthur's like, shink, 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 shink. Screw you. I'm fighting. I'm going to figure out why are you taking my place. Yada, yada, yada. He's like, I don't know. Stop shooting me. I'm trying to figure this out on my own. And I didn't like it. I didn't like that part, because he quite explicitly stated before even fighting, he's like, I don't know what's going on.
Since when do superheroes listen to each other when they meet each other? It's like, I'll tell you what, I'll meet you at Burger King and they'll have a fight over what to have.
It's not Burger King, it's Bat Burger.
Oh, whatever.
At least the Bat family can sit down at a burger joint and have a conversation with each other.
That brings up an interesting question. If you've got Bat Burger in Gotham, does that mean you've got like a super sushi place in Metropolis?
Maybe.
I think Superman would be more like KFC.
It'd have to begin with an S surely for the alliterative.
I mean, it's super fried chicken.
Super fried chicken.
There you go. Yeah, super fried.
Super
Yeah.
SFC.
SFC.
But basically, the majority of the book is them trying to figure out what's going on, and then it jumps back over to the guy doing time travel. And as they're bringing him back, a dinosaur happens to get into the path, and we find out that they've essentially spliced genes together. As we see in the very last panel of the book, he is now a dinosaur man. But the majority of the book is these two fighting when there doesn't even need to be this big fight scene.
It's called padding.
Yeah.
They're padding the book.
It's called something else where I'm from.
But yeah, I like the dinosaurs. Legitimately my favorite part.
Yeah,
Love dinosaurs.
Not the mama. Do you remember that show? Or is that just me being old again?
What?
Never mind. It is me being old again. Right. Freya.
Okay.
Dinosaurs, time travel, people getting mixed up, arguing for no reason. Man, that sounds like a TDC episode.
It sounds like a CW show. Anyway, okay. The time thing, whatever. I don't understand why he shot the freaking dinosaur. I would have kept that crap, but whatever. Because he obviously keeps them later. Or was he back in time? I think he was back in time. But why would you chill out with the dinosaurs? They'd eat you.
The question is, if he's chilling out with the dinosaur, did he keep the dinosaur? And when did he get the almanac from Biff that would tell him what this future score is?
Exactly. Yeah. It's just this whole thing. First of all, why I'm trying to figure out how Oliver Queen and freaking Aquaman get switched around.
Because they're the only blonde people. It doesn't work if it's anybody else. Honestly, if it's anybody else, there is no way that advert works. No way at all. And we've seen the advert in one of the other books that we looked at earlier. The advert is, of course, the cover. Now, if that's anybody else, that cover doesn't work.
Granted,
you'd see straight away that, oh look, Aquaman's got black hair. It's not Oliver Arthur Curry. It's just lazy. It's lazy.
I guess, but it's just so dumb. Anyway, they kind of did something like this before. Where was it? Superman switched with Bruce.
Oh, they've done it.
I think they've done this before, but like, I agree. Why would you do these two characters if they can't even have their own solo books going? And I personally think the Aquaman would have a great Black Label book if they did it kind of like Game of Thrones style type of thing.
We've said this. You and I have said this before.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. I think politics, Game of Thrones,
poisoning people, stabbing them in the back, slitting their throats, all for the power of the Atlantean throne would be awesome.
That would be really cool.
And they could bring Mara's home city country into it, because I know they wanted to assassinate Arthur and do that whole situation.
Then you've got the people that live down in the trench.
Yeah.
Like dolphins people.
Dolphins
So
people, they could do a lot with that, but no, that would take too much
that it's just
time.
I
But
don't
yeah,
I don't understand. I don't understand, and this is probably a question for everyone to get in on this. I don't understand why Namor over at Migraine is so popular and such a key player in their universe, and yet Aquaman's a running joke in DC.
it's because he slept with Sue Storm.
I did not see that coming. That's what he said.
Let's just be perfectly honest. If he did not, do the nasty with Sue and, took her away from, if they didn't have that whole subplot going on with them, he would be just as much of a laughing stock as freaking Aquaman. Because the main problem with Aquaman most of the time is because he's a goody goody. If he was out sleeping around with people or, stealing people's wives or whatever, people would like him more, which is weird. It's actually more of like, be more adult, and a lot of these characters will be more liked. Like Oliver Queen. If Oliver Queen acted more like, had more adult stuff going on, then he would like him. And Bruce Wayne is a freaking playboy who sleeps with pretty much everyone. So, like,
I don't think you're a million miles wrong from there, actually.
No.
You're absolutely. I mean,
people love drama.
You slept with Sue Storm, yeah, that's one thing. But Namor has always been more of an anti-hero than an actual out-and-out hero. Whereas Arthur seems to be trying too hard to try and establish himself as a hero for the world. But again, the thing that makes him interesting is in the Justice League cartoon where he's sort of like he's at odds with man's world. That's where he's interesting. When he's been all like, oh, let's go and help the Justice League, it's like boring. He's just another clone.
Yeah, and I personally was it Justice League where he cuts off his own hand to save his child.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome. I was like,
that was really cool.
This guy's so cool that he has the hook hand for the rest of
It's why Black Manta is one of my favorite villains, is because he's so dark and like he literally like killed Arthur's wife and child in front of him, like drowned his child in front of Arthur, like because it was dark, it was dramatic, and not many other villains have done something like that. That's a really cool and core piece to Aquaman's story that we have not seen.
No.
I will say that it was Peter David that cut off the hand first in the comics. Yeah. But you're absolutely right. That for a lot of people, who don't read comics, watching Aquaman lose a hand is pretty much a big thing.
It was pretty awesome, yeah. And it just goes to show how much I don't like this book because we haven't been talking about it at all.
There you go. There you go. All right. So the 4 mixed bag books for your Halloween. Go and check them out. Guys, that's it. We're done for another episode.
Ooh.
How cool was that?
And that's a wrap.
Yeah.
That is a wrap. Don't forget to check out the UCPM for all your favorite shows, including Matthew.
The Jank Think Tank, where we discuss Magic the Gathering, whether it be cards, deck decks, or even doing gameplay.
There you go. Keep an eye on the OTP. That's the original and still long-lasting outside the panels. We have a couple of new interviews coming up in the next week. And of course, as everyone likes to have the ha-has at me, we've got the Old Timers Comic Book Show, where the hosts aren't old. Comics most certainly are. All right, guys. Thanks very much. Had a blast. We have to keep an eye on what book we're going to pick for Josh next time.
Yes, definitely.
Yes,
definitely.
All right. Okay. So as always, this is Johnny the Machine Hughes. Adios.
Bye.
Bye-bye.